Hi guys, I'm Alan from GameCraft Miniatures, and we're out here in our executive gaming room out behind the shop, and I wanted to talk to you guys about gaming surfaces and a new product we've come out with for gaming, specifically like at conventions and tournaments and things. First I want to talk about static gaming boards like what you see here. These are my gaming boards, and they are sort of a hard shell scenery. They can't be modified in any way. They look great, I think, and they're a great way to show off our products, like our buildings and things and road systems. But like I said, they're pretty static. You can't do much with them as far as changing the terrain. I can move boards around and I can turn them and do different things with them, but whatever you see on one board is pretty much the way it's always going to look. So that's one of the disadvantages to this kind of board for tournaments and conventions. Also, they're a bit heavy and not easily transportable, so that's a bit of a problem too. They work great out here because I don't take them anywhere, but if you wanted to go to a convention or a tournament, these kind of boards probably wouldn't work real well for you. And like I said before, nothing on the boards can be moved. Everything's glued down. So once a player finds a real good hiding space or a good vantage point or whatever, that's always there in every game. So that never changes. That's another slight disadvantage to this kind of board. So what I'm going to show you is some alternatives to this sort of gaming surface. We've come up with a new product line for use on sand tables and what I just call cloth table surfaces. So I showed you the rigid terrain. Now I want to talk about a couple other types of terrain that you can do for wargaming. One of the common ones is called the sand table. I don't have an example to show you, but it's pretty easy to explain. Basically, you take some wood, like some 1" by 3" pine, and put it around the edge of your table to form like a lip. And then you pour sand. Go to your local home improvement store, DIY shop, and get some playground sand and just fill the table with about 3 inches of sand. Now remember, when you do that, the sand is about 50 pounds per bag, and you're going to need probably a half-dozen bags, so make sure your table is pretty sturdy. It's going to weigh a lot. But once you get your sand all spread out, then you can contour it and shape it to whatever you want, and you can have a good game on that, and every time you can change it. Now that's great for a table at home, but of course that doesn't work for conventions and things. You can't bring a sand table with you into a convention. So that's where system number 3 comes in. And that's when you go to your local fabric shop and buy a big piece of material like this. I think this is called fleece. It's the same thing that some sweaters and things are made out of. I bought a tan for desert scenes and a green for sort of European meadows and things like that. We're going to go ahead and use the tan today, and I'm going to show you how you can set up a real quick board using this, and then I'll introduce you to our new terrain system that can be used on the fabric, and it can be used on sand tables. So the first thing you want to do is figure out pretty much where you want rises, bumps in your terrain to be, and then take any material. Like I use just paper. I got a roll of paper here, and put down clumps of it around, and then the fabric is going to go on top of it, and once it's done, it'll make kind of natural looking contours. So what I want to do is I'm actually going to create a beach over here. I've got some water scenery, and I want like a water landing, and then there'll be a slight hill, and then just a couple of random little hills. So I'm just going to take this paper here, pull out some, and just sort of crinkle it. And I'm going to put some tape just to kind of hold it down. The cool thing about this is that the terrain is there, and if you run a game and then you're at a tournament, a convention, whatever, and then you want to run another game right afterwards, you can move these around a little bit, and you've got a whole different gaming surface. But since this is meant to be desert, there's not a whole lot of terrain. It's going to be pretty flat, so I'm not going to do a lot of this. This is just to kind of show you how it's done. So that's it. That's how simple that is. Then you just unfold your cloth. That's Anthony behind the camera. Say hi, Anthony.
What's going on, guys?
Okay, so there we have our basic terrain. So now this is where I introduce you to our new product. It's basically everything I've showed you so far is anybody can do with things you can get at the fabric store and paper and things like that. Our new product is felt terrain. What these are is asphalt roads in black and all of the basic pieces that go with it: crossings, corners, roundabouts. There's some T intersections in here, other corners, and then rivers and small lakes, river sections, corners, kind of squiggly bits, and then of course dirt roads, which are very similar to the asphalt roads except that they are brown and the edges are not quite so straight. They have a little bit of a randomness to them. Now these pieces are very inexpensive, so you can buy a lot of them all at once and have a lot of options. They are laser cut, so the edges of these actually are slightly burned by the laser when it melts through, and that kind of cauterizes the edge so they don't fray. See, you could buy some felt yourself with a pair of scissors and cut some of these shapes yourself, but they're going to fray very easily, and you're going to have a real hard time keeping the dimensions. Like on these, all of the ends are 1 inch wide. Every single one of them is exactly 1 inch wide, even on the corners and things like that. And when you're cutting corners and stuff, it's really hard to keep them real exact like that, and we've managed to do that by laser cutting them. And another advantage to the felt over our traditional modular road system, our traditional modular road system are made of 1/16 inch or 1.5 millimeter clear acrylic, and it's very stiff. So if you laid a piece of road on here, it would not conform to the terrain, where the felt will absolutely conform to the terrain. So that's really kind of a cool feature. You can have, you know, your roads following any terrain contour, so that's kind of cool. And again, if you're running a game and then you want to run another game right after it and you want to change things up, well, you just pick them up and move them around. There's nothing to it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sort of set up a little town here and the beachhead and some dirt roads and whatnot, and I'll show you how all this can come together and look pretty cool. So let me just get these out of the way. Now, I haven't given this any forethought, so it's just going to be completely random what I do here. So the first thing I want to do is we'll pull out this piece here. This is a piece that's available now. It's a 3-piece beach set, which you can use as 3 pieces, or you can use as 2 pieces for a smaller one, or you could even use it on the edge of a board, just 1 piece if you wanted just a little corner of water. But I'm going to go over here to the edge and set up the whole 3-piece system here. Just put it right on the edge. And the felt, when you kind of just push it down a little bit, it kind of almost sticks to the other material. So there is a super simple and quick waterfront beach situation there. So just over the hill, then we'll put a small town in here. Let me get some roads out. So we'll just start with a road there. We'll go with the intersection. Another road. Another intersection. And then we'll come off of that with a curve. And we'll put another curve, another straight there. And then we'll go with a slight curve here, 45 degree, so we avoid this hill. And there we go. And now we'll basically just populate the town with some buildings. And sort of that quickly you've created a small town. Now, leaving town, you probably want to go off the paved roads and go to dirt roads. So those, like I said, are very similar to the asphalt roads. They're just brown. So if your rule sets have different vehicle speeds for dirt roads versus paved roads, then you're differentiating here. Otherwise, you could probably just use all the black roads and be just as happy. Now, something important to mention here is that the asphalt roads come in 3 different widths: a single lane, a double lane, and a 4 lane. This is the double lane, basically 1 lane in each direction. The 1 lane roads are 1 inch wide, which is the exact same width of the 2 lane highways in our modular road system. So you can mix and match and use some pieces from our modular road system, like this bridge here, and it matches up perfectly with the road sections, of course without sidewalks. The modular road system has sidewalks. These of course don't have sidewalks. So with that road there, that bridge, you could put a little pond, as we see so much in the Middle East these days. And you can put a little river under the bridge. And you can even overlap these if you have to, like put that there and then just plop that right on top of it. And then we've got a little squiggly section there. And then sort of going right off the edge, probably can't even see that, but going right off the edge of the board there. And you could continue that out, and that could run off to the edge of the board with more pieces. So basically, as you can see there, in just a couple of minutes we've done asphalt roads, the whole town, dirt roads, a river, a small pond, and the Gulf of something, beachhead there. So the Marines can come land, they come up over the hill, attack the town, and drive on through. And you've set that all up in just a few minutes. Some of the big advantages of this system are portability. You can just roll this cloth up, throw all of these felt pieces in a small box and take them to a convention across town or across the country. Doesn't weigh much. Customizable. You can rearrange things any way you want, as often as you want, so you never have the same game surface twice. The little contours and whatnot can be any pieces of trash you pick up along the way. Throw anything you want under there. So it's a real great portable gaming system. The hard roads that we sell in our modular gaming system have, a little more detail to them with the sidewalks and things like that, but they're not nearly as portable. So you have to decide, what you want. If you want rigid terrain, or if you want something like this where you can modify it each time. So there you go. I hope you like it. I hope to see some of these show up at the local conventions and tournaments. And if you buy some of these and use them, send me some pictures and let me see how cool they look on your board. Alright, thanks a lot for watching. See you next time.